Not all wars are loud. Some are fought in silence. No banners, no speeches, just quiet movements beneath the surface. But this war, well, it doesn't show up on your news feed, it isn't debated in Parliament, and is not broadcast during halftime or posted on trending hashtags. Now it happens in wallets, in cold storage, in every quiet click that says buy, and while the rest of the world scrolls past. Because while most people are distracted, entertained, or over-leveraged, a new class of individuals are stacking. One sat at a time, 1,000, 1,000,000, and they know something the world hasn't realised yet. That the race isn't for wealth, it's for access, it's for escape, it's for enough before it's gone. Now the war for 1,000,000 satoshis has quietly started, and most people will lose, and without ever realising there was a battle in the first place. Now I just quickly want to chuck this in here because Bitcoin is the first part of the equation. Sovereignty is the second. And that's why I have Sovereign by Design. Now this is a completely free course, and what I'll do is link this down in the description below. See, 1,000,000 satoshis doesn't feel expensive, but it's not cheap either. Currently, it's under $1,000, the price of a new phone, a weekend getaway, still within reach, but that's exactly the danger. Because the moment something feels affordable, it gets ignored, dismissed, deferred. You say, I'll buy it later, as if time obeys intention. But affordability is a mask. It hides the truth until it's too late. Now ask anyone who watched Bitcoin go from $100 to $1,000, then to $10,000 and said, I'll wait for the dip. And ask anyone who thought that zero point 0.1 Bitcoin was too small to matter. Now the truth is 1,000,000 satoshis isn't small, it's just early. And early always looks unimpressive until it's unattainable. Now that's the shift, because you're not buying value, you're buying a position, and in a game that most haven't realised has even started. See, let's go ahead and break it down. Bitcoin has 21 million coins. Each coin has 100 million satoshis, so that's 2.1 quadrillion satoshis in total. Now that sounds like a lot, until you do the math, because divide it by 8 billion people alive today and you get 262,500 satoshis per person. And that's it. That's global equality. But that's if every human had their fair share. But that's not how the world works, because wealth doesn't distribute. It concentrates. So what happens when governments, hedge funds, tech giants, and sovereign nations start piling in? Well, what happens when they realise that 1 Bitcoin is too expensive and start chasing satoshis instead? Now suddenly 1,000,000 satoshis, the number no one paid attention to, becomes the new flex, the new access key, the new gatekeeper of wealth and freedom. And by then, well, it'll be too late to buy. You'll only be able to trade for it, sell for it, beg for it, and the war won't be waged in public, it'll be settled in silence, ownership or regret, and no middle ground. See, there are 4 types of people in this unfolding world. Number 1, the sleepers. They don't know. They trust the system. They think dollars are stable and debt is normal, and they'll wake up one day priced out, or worse, captured. And then there's number 2, the skeptics. They've heard of Bitcoin. They call it volatile. They call it speculative. They believe CNN more than they believe math. They'll laugh until they cry. But then there's number 3, the traders. They're in it for price action, flipping coins, chasing pumps. They're looking for exits, not ownership. And they won't hold long enough to understand what they had. And then there's number 4, the stackers. The quiet ones. No hype, no FOMO. Just conviction, strategy, and patience. Now they don't check charts. They build cold storage vaults, and they don't need attention, they're focused on accumulation. Now the stackers will win, because they understand something deeper. That this isn't about being early to a bull run, it's about being early to a paradigm shift. See, let's stop calling it an investment, and let's stop pretending you're just trying to make a little more. Because 1 million satoshis is not money, it's insurance. Insurance against inflation, against confiscation, against central banks' digital currencies, financial censorship, and engineered dependency. Now, in the old world, you bought life insurance. In the new world, you buy time. You buy optionality, the ability to move, to build, to survive without asking for permission. And that's what 1 million satoshis gives you. Not Lambos, not yachts, just leverage when it matters most. And if you don't see that now, you'll see it too late. See, think of it like this. Bitcoin is digital land, finite, immutable, unforgettable. And buying 1 million satoshis today is like buying a chunk of Manhattan in 1805, a beachfront lot before the coastal boom, an early domain name in the birth of the internet. Now at the time, it feels irrelevant. Who cares? It's just dirt, just code, just bytes. But the people who bought early, they didn't see dirt. They saw future gravity. They saw what it would attract. And now everyone wants it. But there's no more land, just leverage and legacy. See, do you know what the most painful feeling actually is? Well, it's not being wrong, it's being late. Regret. Watching someone who had less end up with more. Now, not because they worked harder, not because they got lucky, but because they understood the timeline. And that's what stacking is. It's aligning with the long game. Not days, not months, but decades. Because when this war ends and the world starts placing value in sats, no one will care how early you almost were. They'll ask, how much do you own? How long did you hold? See, here's the truth. The war for 1 million satoshis isn't coming. It's already here. And the scoreboard isn't public, it's private, cold, encrypted. Now you won't hear shots fired, you'll wake up to the new rules. And 1 million satoshis will no longer be an option. It will be a requirement, a key, a lifeline. So the only question is, are you stacking or are you sleeping? Because this isn't about being rich, it's about being ready. Now you don't need to time the top. You don't need to time the bottom. You don't need to wait for a perfect entry. You just need to understand what's happening and act accordingly. So buy your first 1,000 satoshis, stack to 100,000 satoshis, then get to 1 million. Now, not for a flex, but for the freedom, because the war has already started and it's being won by the people you're not watching, the ones buying in silence. Now, one last time, Sovereign by Design, I'm just going to chuck this in here again. If you want to come and check this out, there'll be a link for this down in the description below. Now, I do also want to chuck this in here as well. I recently started a Facebook page, so if you're interested in following me, then I'll link this in the description as well. Now, if you've made it this far and if you're not too sure what to watch next, well, I have this playlist for you just here, which you can go ahead and binge watch if you enjoy watching my content, or if you just want a quick single little video, you can watch this one just here, recommended to you by YouTube.